Raja has over 3.5 decades of experience as a human resource leader who has shaped high-performing cultures at major growth brands with technical business acumen, prolific communication, and robust development. Actively associated with employer organizations, management institutes, and professional bodies, associations as a member and guest speaker, also as presently a mentor for entrepreneurial program from Columbia University, USA. Joining him is Mr. Anand Maheshwari, founder director, Quintess Global Private Limited. Anand is a meritorious chartered accountant and also a company secretary, comes with over 3 decades of extensive work experience with a blend of senior management and entrepreneurial roles within India and the UK. Anand has worked in corporations like Jubilant Organosis, Canorias, American Express, and Venture Infotech for the last 10 years. In his current role with our Value Group, Anand brings proven strategic execution capabilities, stakeholder collaboration, and people management skills. I'd like to also invite Swadesh Behera, Senior Director, Human Resources, Boston Scientific, India. Swadesh demonstrates robust HR experience with achievements across the globe, with diverse sectorial experience in MNCs and Indian organizations covering pharmaceuticals, FMCG, and manufacturing. For Swadesh, leadership is all about being authentic and genuine, who prides in taking the best out of the team and driving the synergy towards meeting the organization's objectives. And very happy to welcome Kanchan Chinnal, Executive Director, Human Resources APAC, Eros India Limited. Kanchan has 23 plus years of HR experience across multiple business sectors such as FMCG, telecom, retail and sourcing, technology, IT, ITES, and service organizations. Kanchan's core functional areas are executive leadership development and coaching, HR business partnering and consulting, organizational design and development, change management, M&A, and transformation initiatives. Very nice to have all of you here for this panel discussion, and it's now over to Raja.
Thank you so much. Good afternoon. I thought we just had coffee and tea and biscuits and some pakoras. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. I have a mic, I have an advantage. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Still not, there are about 100 people here, 50, 60 people here. Louder. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
That's the change I want. Great, thank you. Wonderful to be here, and thanks to the panelists to be with me and bear me as a moderator. Ravi very nicely put up why change is required and why it is necessary to take us to the next level and to the future and building organization of the future. All of us know that change is the only constant. It's the only constant and there's no change to change. So all of us need to be prepared to change as we go by. And if I were to look at it, everything seems to be changing around us. Things are moving much faster than what it used to be. And I would always say that my generation is the generation that has seen the maximum amount of change and disruption in what's happening in the economy and what's happening in the life. Now, if this is a change, what has changed? Look at globalization has brought in a huge amount of disruption and change in every country possible. Business models have changed, and the business models have moved based on disruption. Uber, which is the largest taxi operator in the world, does not own cars. Facebook, which is one of the largest media companies, does not create content. Airbnb, the largest accommodation company in the world, does not own hotels. So there are different business models which are operating. And those business models are creating opportunities and challenges for HR people to see how we can manage our workforce, the changing times, and how do we cope up with the future. Now, if I were to look at the trends which have come based on the changes in what as organizations going through, if you look at it, thanks to the social media, extremely huge amount of new behaviors have come into being. Earlier, when we said something to our employees and say, please keep it confidential, hopefully it will remain confidential within the room. After some time, it will go to the corridors. But today, my friend in the other company will call and say, hey, Raja, you have done this change to employees. How does it work? Even before it's announced to employees. So what's happening is people's behaviors have changed to say, how do I manage this change without letting everyone know? Because only if behaviors change, will culture change. So how do you manage that? Technology is playing a big role in the way the culture is being organized in the company. Be it the cloud, the big data, AI, machine learning. People keep saying that we will lose jobs, and I always keep saying AI, only one part is artificial, the other part is intelligence, which comes from human beings. So how can AI take away your jobs? And one of the biggest challenges which every one of us faces is millennials. The millennials have come into being into the workforce. While I always keep saying that the millennial workforce, I was a millennial once. I always thought my boss didn't know anything. I always thought my boss was slow. I always thought that I could do better than my boss. So what is so different about the person now below who saying the same thing? The only difference is technology. The awareness of technology, those millennials are natives of technology, whereas I am not. That is a big difference because it gives an entire environment which is different. People's widened horizons and people know what's happening around the world. So that's going to be the challenge. And in India, it's more of a challenge because in the next couple of years, in 2020, they're going to have about 600 million millennials, equal to the population of US. So there's a huge opportunity in the way we manage our millennials. And of course, mobility. Thanks to technology again, you can work anywhere, anytime, on any device. So there comes the difference of how do you build the bonding, how do you build the sense of belongingness with the remote workforce. And I go back to globalization. Globalization has actually made geography history. There's no boundaries anymore, and as a result, the amount of things which you face is based on what is happening in the US can it happen in India. So what we want to deliberate over the next 40 minutes is basically hear from each one of the people on what changes about and what they believe is the change which they need to bring into the organization for creating a culture as we go by. I always look at change as disruption, where it's caused because of disruption or growth, or vice versa or both. Now, if that is going to be the situation, we plan for change, we do a lot of things of change. People don't resist change. I repeat, people don't resist change. They only resist being changed. Because I have to do something different. So they resist being changed, and that is going to be the difference. And management people sees this as a challenge and opportunity. All of us sees that our change is coming, let's do it, let's create those plans, we will implement them. I won't speak to Suresh and say, let's do this, Suresh, and that's what is challenging and opportunity. But what do the employees see? Employees see it as very disruptive. They see it as a disruptive thing to their day-to-day life. And they also believe it's very inclusive to what they're doing. So in all this put together, the core block is the HR. Because the company looks at HR and says, you are the custodian of culture. I believe very strongly HR is not the custodian of culture. Culture comes from the top. HR is only a facilitator. Yes, they're facilitated to ensure that everything goes right. And they are the ones who challenge up to the CEO to say that this is what needs to be done. But that role has to be played only if you have it from within. It's not from outside. It has to come from within, the passion, the commitment to do it. So with these words, I'm going to ask each one of the panels to share their perspective. And the way it will go is that each one will share a perspective for 3 to 5 minutes, depending upon what they want to share, or even less than that. And then we will open up for questions. I'll ask a few questions. I'll also get the audience to ask questions because this is a true setting for a panel discussion. We're not here to make presentations. That's one of the things we said, no PPTs. So we said, let's discuss, have a discussion. Now, being the moderator, I have a big advantage. If any difficult question is posed at me, I know who to share. I don't need to share. I say, function, whoever is nice to me, they will not get the difficult questions. But I will pass it on to them. Now, I will moderate to ensure that the right people answer your questions. And if need be, knowing the people in the audience who know me, I can't keep quiet, so I will also be able. Okay? Anand, all yours. Great.
Is on? Okay, good. So, once again, good morning and afternoon to you. When he was asking us to repeat, I thought there was a trick here because it was still not well. So, anyway, so this was good afternoon for him, but we are globalized people, so not a problem there. So, the topic which is important to all of us about this change management, cultural transformation, while we are talking of building organizations for tomorrow. And our friend Prabir put it very well. Secondly, stressed on each of the words. So I will pick up only 2 or 3 words for this, sharing some of my thoughts about why we are having this particular kind of session. One is cultural transformation. Second is measuring change, or how do we go about change management. And third is how does it help us in getting future ready. So I think on all the 3 aspects, this has been a great, I would say, provocative questions which have been already been given, and you would have seen that the rigorous slide. But I hold a very clear and rather strong view about the transformation has to happen at multiple levels, and not only just cultural transformation. But being an HR-centric conversation that we are having, the culture becomes a very, very important and common thread. Some of the defining value systems may remain constant over a period of time, but the culture has to be always adaptive as well as flexible to the needs of what we say is the business. And the business, which, as we all know, is now driven by a very different set of people. Some way you may call them millennials and all that. So the cultural fit that we had yesterday is definitely not going to be valid today. And for tomorrow, we have to anticipate what needs to change. So this is one important aspect of dealing with the changes. The next comment that I wanted to share with you is about, can change be measured? And often the response we get is that yes, we experience it, we feel it, but we don't quite know how to measure it. My view is that it is very much possible, provided you look at first the impact that the change is to be. So you measure the impact and you define all the expected outcomes well in advance whenever you are taking a change management initiative. And this is essentially about the organizational driven changes. But the changes for growth will normally fall under this category. But the changes that you are supposed to or forced to deal with because of the external forces or dynamic market situation and all that, in those cases, your key measurement statistic will come from probably some kind of benchmarking exercise. And you have seen all kind of statistics. In fact, I was reading about it when somebody said 70% of the change management initiatives failed. Then I also did down a little bit more and figured out that the 70% was a made up number. It was a fake number. which was which was being adopted every time somebody quoted, but nobody could figure out whether it was based on any specific history. The reason was that there was no measurement system in place. So how do you define a 70%? That could have been applied on some of the project management kind of initiatives, where you could have a 60% success rate versus a 30% success rate, and or what have you. So, but the point is not about 70%. The point is about what is the impact that you wanted to create versus what is the impact that you are able to create. And for that, in my view, if you go through the standard process of defining expected outcomes, defining certain milestones, and keep on measuring them in a scientific way, you can measure the not only measure the change, you can benchmark yourself against. And last but not the least, whatever you are doing, even as from an HR angle or whatever, it has to ultimately improve the business performance. So this connect with the business goals or performance has to be very, very solid and adapt. It our business, as Prabir also mentioned in his, that as HR leaders, if we can't articulate within close to 3 minutes what our business is all about, we will lose that focus. So where the value drivers are, unless that clarity is there across the organization, any such initiative is bound to fail.
Thank you, Anand. I like your statement of measuring. We need to have a baseline in place, we need to study the impact and what outcome it creates. That's a very nice model to use for measuring change as well. Thank you. Satish, what are your thoughts?
So first of all, I think so much has stuff has been spoken about changes in the morning. And I heard Akhil and Prabir, and I think I don't want to make any another case for change, and it's all over there. And Raja, you mentioned that change is constant, but then the way I have been experiencing it for the last 2 decades now, and over the last 4-5 years, especially if I have to talk about the sector which I am in, and I will speak a little about healthcare sector. So it's really different than, I don't know, if you're in the healthcare sector. The changes we have been experiencing. So the new norm is rapid change. I think this change was constant, rapid change is constant now. I think more and more, I think you will continuously in many organizations, irrespective of sectors, are experiencing that exponential changes, be it a lot of disruptions. And if I ask any one of you, and to raise your hand, say that like how many of you in your organization, if you are not doing any kind of a transformation, I think very few hands will be down. Okay, almost all of you will raise your hands and say that yeah, we are doing some kind of a transformation. So first of all, coming to the topic, when we're talking about cultural transformation, I thought that it would be pertinent to put on my view as a practicing manager. What do I mean change and what do I mean by transformation? So change is implemented. Change has to happen. If I talk about my sector, suddenly government decides to reduce the prices. There's a price cap which happens. I think most of us have read it in the newspaper. That would necessitate a change. I have to look at my portfolio of products. I need to find out which of the products will make sense in the price cap scenario. Government goes and announces a huge plan for Ayushman Bharat. A lot of people have heard about it, which almost touches 50 crores of people. I think that will open up a huge opportunity for us. I need to really look back. Am I playing there? So those kinds of changes will continue. And I know crystal ball gazer and what's going to happen in the elections. But then I definitely, whichever government comes to power, health is going to be another critical element. So I know that in post-election, I think my organization will experience more and more demand for change. The change we organize, the change in the go-to-market model, I think that will continue. Now coming to transformation. Transformation is a large-scale change. Transformation, a lot of people, transformation is not a bad word. Transformation has to solve something. If you do not have a goal, I think you should not get into transformation. I think many organizations, from my own experience, I've seen, we have done, I work for a large multinational company. I think just because Europe has done a transformation, we feel that in ASEP Act, we should do a transformation, where India is a part of it. And sometimes just for you has done it, if you want to do a transformation, I think it drastically fails. But then if you do not have a goal in place, and that's again the measurement comes in. If you don't have a goal, if you have a goal, you will measure. If you have a goal, it becomes much easier to measure how much you've achieved in transformation. But if you do not have a goal, and I think that's where you will, find it difficult for measurement. Now, coming to for transformation, I think it's mission critical to drive a sense of urgency. And I think we are, many organizations I've seen, including my organization, I've seen a bunch of people who are very, very complicit. If you are complicit, if you do not have a mindset, I think when Ravi was presenting, there was a question asked about a mindset of change. I think it's so important because if you look at it genetically, we human beings, we abhor change. So blame it on the amygdala we have, because I don't think genetically as the human beings they progress, I think we still remain in the Stone Age era that like we are risk averse because human beings, as you know, we are not we didn't have the strength to fight, and we were always afraid, right? So that averse to change is continuing with us. I think that's a very, very critical element. That's why people hate change. They love status quo. And if that is not taken into account, then hence I always say transformation has to start with a sense of urgency. Transformation has to start with trying to ensure that we need to break complacency. If you're not breaking complacency, if you're not addressing the status quo mindset of people, I don't think transformation will be a reality. And I think coming down to the cultural element of it, I think some organizations have embedded in the values, like if your innovation is a value, I think you would create some infrastructure. I think the entire ecosystem sometimes helps you to propel changes. Like, thankfully we have an organization where, it's clearly the stated line is advancing science for life. And innovation is the engine which is driving change. So if innovation is the engine which is driving change, and I think there is a whole ecosystem which helps us how do we embrace change. It becomes relatively easier. But then if you do not have, meaningful innovation, or innovation is not as one of the core values, I think it's time that many organizations have to relook at it and really embed innovation. And also it is very important, I think we spoke about leaders driving change. I think transformation starts from the leadership. And if you do not have leaders, I think one of the critical elements of every leader is whether the leader is agile. If the leader is thinking for the future, can he find out what changes? Can he really, see what changes are coming in and prepare the organization? It's so important. I think when we are looking at leaders now in our organization, that is one element when we are looking at like whether this person has already done some change management with the previous organizations. Because if you're building somebody laterally, or internally, like we will have some examples. If you're building leaders from within, we have some examples if somebody has really led some change. But then if you're bringing in anybody from outside, that's a absolutely critical element we look for when we are looking for a leader. So that's my little.
Thank you. Thank you, Rajesh.
So interesting. This change in the perspective of me sitting here today, thanks to Pallavi, right? This change in the fact that Raja and I connected and he told me no presentations and let's just go out and speak, right? So change is organization-led, individual-led, and team-led, right? That having said, it's an interesting topic. When it came my way, and the first thing that I did, and I spoke to my team, I said, we have to go across and just have a conversation around this. And it's interesting in terms of why this topic was picked up, right? And the reason why this topic, sitting in the business arena where I sit, the reason why this topic is so critical and so important for all of us comes from the fact that, organizations, and specifically if you look at shared services organizations, right? It was all about standardization and centralization, right? Standardize and centralize, and therefore, with all my go-to organization, I'm going to go to you and I'm going to, look at my cost paradigms and look at, how I'm going to do my cost attainment. It's moved, right? It's no longer about really creating small pools of centralized organizations. It's about creating high-performing organizations. Now, in case, and if you want to be a high-performing organization, the need of the hour centers around IT enablement, process changes, reorganizations, right? And also business cultural change, right? And that, brings about this entire focus that we have on, cultural transformation. Change is the big, the buzzword, change is the only constant that all of us have in our lives, right? So it got me thinking, and I said, yes, it's a relevant topic, it impacts all of us, it's there for all of us to do. And also in terms of how we deal and see change, is change a static one element that cuts across thousands of employees, or do you really want to look at change from the standpoint of small verticals, increments, do the modeling, and those small verticals and see them, really get cascaded across the organizations? Is change leadership driven, or is it important for everybody in the organization to really have, their skin in the game to drive that change to success? Is change actually to be only driven by HR, or is it actually to be owned by each and every employee? Whether the morning Pradeep was talking about the transition that is done from the fact of leading hundreds of people to now being an IC, an individual contributor, right? So how do you read change? Very, very critical, very, very relevant as I see it, and change, driving successful change. If you start, one of the things that I was doing when I was preparing my profile of Kalvi, I talked about M&A and change transformation. If I look back in the last 5 years of my career, only with Eros, right? There's large change that is going on, right? It could be in the form of how we're business partnering. It could be in the form of how we're managing our vendors. It could be in the form of how our GTMs are running. It could be in the form of what I'm doing with my shared service units across the business. And each and every employee today, people who are working in corporations today are very, very aware of the change management techniques, change transformation, and change being a way. Back to you, Radha.
Can you hear me? Yes. Suresh, this question I have asked you, I'm asking first. You have taken a lot of change initiatives in the organization and seen through them. What are some of the major impediments you faced when you were making the change process? And how have you as an organization and you as an individual then in facilitating the change to go forward?
One thing I mentioned, every transformation or lead change dialogue, it has to start with the goal. The goal is absolutely mission critical. And any transformation runs on the track of people and processes. It's extremely important. And in all the change initiatives we've taken in the organization, I think that's one thing which always tells us, like, don't underestimate people, communicate. If you do not create a compelling value proposition, your change will not move forward. And more so with more millennials coming in. And when I look at my organizations, 82% are millennials. And the new generation kids, and I think this guy will ask tons of questions. And while it was difficult already for the earlier generations to change, I think the new generation will ask a lot of questions. And you must have answers for them. And if you do not have answers, they will not embrace change. And this all millennials, and it was really interesting, like I was asking them this question, saying that how long is your career span? And you know what? The average, which I took account, it was something in the range of 15 years. They're not looking at having a long career. And for them, it has to be meaningful. So anything they do, it has to be meaningful. So I think more and more, it's becoming important that if it is not a compelling value proposition, people will not change. Other thing which we ensure, if it's a large transformation, having a strong coalition of people to drive this. You need to have those couple of leaders who need to drive this, and they better have the team, they better have the decision-making power. If you have a weaker team leading the change, I don't think it will lead anywhere. I don't think the goalpost is only keep on changing.
Okay, thank you so much. Kanchan, you were talking about the approaches which organizations take. What is it strategically an organization can do to overcome barriers of change?
So, it's a 6 or a 7-step model, and try my best to try to share the learning with you. It has to start with a vision, right? What's the vision? Why are you wanting this change? It
has to start by having very strong and robust governing bodies around managing that vision and cascading that vision. Some of the earlier panelists talked about really identifying at that particular stage, once your governing council is in place, then identifying who are the change leaders in this organization. Everybody is not cut out to change, right? So it's important to understand who are those people that you can really coin as change champions, right? And that cuts across the organization. It's not a leadership paradigm anymore. You cut across many managers, you cut across some millennials, and you put them onto those projects and say, here are my change agents, here are my change leaders. Then it talks about the entire process in terms of the 7 communication process, 7 times communication process, right? Talk about it. Brand the change, cascade, give a voice to everything that's written, right? More you communicate the vision out, more you communicate the process out, more you have your change leaders interact through the organization. It's likely that 80 or 70% will go down to a 30 or a 40, right? In terms of the change not being accepted. Then it's all about monitoring, right? How do you monitor it? How do you drive it? How do you review it? How strong are you making processes? Are you using techniques like heat maps? Are you really doing change impact assessments? So how do you monitor? What is the rigor of the organization in terms of really seeing and driving that change? It's funny that today in Xerox, when we walk around, there are things that are talked of in terms of the sunset meeting or the sunrise meeting. These meetings are really about driving transformational change in very, very good ways. And what we need to, at the end of the day, and I think Sudesh kind of touched upon it, right, is that do not forget that everybody has their teeth in the game, right? And so therefore, as your change is getting accepted in the organization, how do you reward it? How do you recognize it? I think these would be the pillars that I would say that we're really much focused on.
Anand, a lot of us keep talking about design thinking in HR. Okay? How do you think design thinking can help in creating initiatives for cultural transformation? Does design thinking help at all?
I would argue that yes, design thinking as a concept is very, very powerful, and more so because in a context of HR, the entire design thinking, although there are those 5 elements and they are not necessarily sequential, non-linear, but the core of design thinking is empathize. You don't define a problem till you empathize it. So you have to feel, experience, ascertain the pain points and the problem symptoms even before you go to the defining stage. That is a major differentiator in favor of design thinking as a process. And it is definitely very, very useful in an HR kind of stream of change management or transformation initiative. So, as you all know, so you go to the ideation level before that you have to empathize, define, and then only you ideate. And there comes the prototyping, testing, and all that. And as I said, many times this linear relationship doesn't work. So, the advantage of applying this as a process is that you can focus on the impact dimension upwards. And all your energies, etc., will then give you that return. Your ROI on your entire investment around this will be much higher. Okay.
In fact, because I went through and read about, I want to demystify myself about design thinking. And as you rightly said, there are 3 elements of design thinking which people talk about from the various articles I could call out. One is creating of the empathy maps. How do you go and say, just don't go to a problem and say that this is a problem. How do you discuss with the person who is in the problem and how does he think? How does he feel? What does he do? And what does he say? Because many times the think and feel and doing may not be aligned, and saying will be what you like to hear. So how do you get in deeper to understand the problem, which is what you have mentioned. The second thing which I do is I go to the good old industrial engineering work study. If you look at it, design thinking also talks about AEIOU. First study the activities which a person is doing. Then look at the environment in which the person is operating. Then look at the interactions which the person is having. Look at the objects which the person is using and what are the uses for these objectives. So look at it, it's nothing but the earlier work study which we used to do when I was in college. First go into the plant and if you want to change the process, do a work study with the paper and pen, saying how long does it take for the product to move from here to there. That's what design thinking is also saying. AEIOU for easier remembrance is what I got to. The last one is the experiential part which I told you, which you told us recently. If you look at it, earlier Japanese management practice had a very clear PDCA cycle. You plan, do, you check, you act, and you come back to plan. Now, under design thinking, in the experiential thing, there is a different one. It's look at what they're doing, try doing it, do it, learn, and come back to look. So I call it the LTDL of design thinking. You look at it, you try it, you do it, again you learn it. And once you learn, you go back, look at it and see whether there's an improvement. And that constant, if it becomes a part of you, is what design thinking is all about. Now, Suresh, I have one question. You have been doing a lot of transformations in the company. Now, in Boston Scientific, how do you gear up the organization to be change? How do you deal with that?
Great question. And I think the organization again, I don't want to repeat it, but then I definitely want to emphasize that the creating the need for urgency to change is very important. It is the first thing when you want to ready an organization for change. And we are a little blessed because of the innovation, because I think the amount, it's all there in the proof point, the amount of money we spend on R&D efforts. And I think the whole ecosystem, what we have created, like we run a program called Imagine, and I think it's one of the annual program which runs, and across the globe, all employees participate. They put their ideas. They in fact ask how much more money is needed to run those ideas. So if you have those kind of stuff, in fact, even diversity and inclusion, I would say, plays a big role, because if your organization is not embracing diversity and inclusion, I think that's the engine which propels innovation. And how do you get people ready for diversity and inclusion? And soon they realize that it is the people managers. End of the day, people managers in the organization across countries of Boston Scientific. If they are not trained, and we found that it's the biases which comes on the way when we want to really drive diversity and inclusion in the organization, then we found that can we train them? Can we have workshops? Can we have this messaging saying that why they should embrace diversity and inclusion? There are many jobs, a lot of people managers. I have fought my many years in HR saying that tell them like why this very strict no, they will not take a lady. Okay, and I'll keep on telling them, tell me why, and there will be no answer. Okay, you know what? Sometimes people say, and with this current changes of maternity act, sometimes people will say, when we take women, they will go on maternity leave. Then now I've been telling them like, what? If somebody goes on maternity leave, that creates an opportunity for you to train. If the millennials are wanting to have quicker experiences, if their career span is 15 years, that is what they're looking for. Isn't that an opportunity for you? 6, 7 months when the lady is out, use that opportunity. Use that opportunity to train the millennials. I think we get a lot of value. I think all of this creates an ecosystem. And if you already have it, I think it just helps you to propel change. So it's an ecosystem, it's training. And I think Kanchan mentioned about change management processes. If you train all your people in change management, so every time, if change is a way of life, and almost every function is changing, you better train everybody in change management processes. If you have an ecosystem, if you're rewarding them, like if you have things like what I mentioned about imaginative ideas, and something which we found really works wonders with the millennials is when we have this walkathons, we have this waterthons, and I think they love it. And we get tons of ideas from them. These are the kids who will tell you, and they have to show a prototype. They work for like 2 days. We run this sessions. If you're running ideathons or waterthons, We will run it for 2 days and they will have to present and show a minimum viable product. And those are the things which engages them. And I think all of this contributes to creating a culture of, preparing and training the organization for change. And I think it's still a small, I think culture is such a vast subject. And I don't think anybody would have a exact answer to it. I think multiple stuff which really helps you to build that culture and really create that ecosystem and in which change will thrive.
Thank you. Thank you. I open up the questions to the audience, so please go ahead. We're waiting to hear from
Yeah, question for me. So we talk of change management and all the seminars and all that, that's great.
Can I get a mic for you? So I can hear you better.
Yeah, sure. So we talk about change management and I notice only in seminars. Because my experience with a lot of organizations, especially startups, they don't know what to change. They don't know what to change. First of all, forget startups, even larger organizations. The big problem is they don't know what to change. Sometimes the change is driven by external requirements. So, for example, my organization are going for infosec security. So our millennials are getting shocked when we tell them that your laptop cannot have YouTube. Correct? Now, that's an externally driven change. Somebody said we need to get infosec security. How do you identify what to change when you don't have these kind of external factors?
Yes, go ahead.
So I'm going to change the context a bit, and I'm going to talk about exactly what you're saying in a slightly different manner. I think it starts with a vision, right? Whether it's a startup or it's an evolved digital organization or it's an organization that's trying to find its second curve of life cycle, the visioning of the leadership team is very, very critical. And I wouldn't like to limit the visioning exercise with the change initiative or what we want to run after, only limited to the internal employees, right? One of the big things that we're seeing in Asia Pacific is the coming around of really garnering your strengths and showcasing that to your customers, right? So what is the customer base of this organization? What do they want out of you? Therefore, what is your vision? And are your employees aligned? I think these are some critical questions that the organization needs to answer. To go back specifically to the point that you're raising, I have the same challenge with millennials in a very mature, steady state organization like Xerox. But what has happened, let me give you an example, a real life example. We've had our legal counsel worldwide get on the call and talk to these engineers about why YouTube cannot be there, right? So I would again link it back to the 7 communication step process and say, how often are you communicating? What are you communicating? Is your organization across 3 tiers, organization, teams, and at the individual level, really having clarity on the vision, point number 1. Point number 2, are they inspired by that vision? So if you're able to answer these 2 questions, it's going to be easy for you to ensure that that change is much more accepted by everybody on the board.
I want to add, certainly, because there was an interesting element of the question about the startup and all that, and what do they change and how do they change. I think the inherent in a startup model is about pivoting. Every now and then you have to pivot your entire business model, your entire product offering and all that. I have had this advantage of running large teams in corporates and also working with very small, close-knit team as a startups in my entrepreneurial role. And I can tell you that the learnings are common, but the application is very different. In a startup kind of scene, or as an entrepreneur, I would look at in all my team, whether they are at a leadership level or whatever level, 3 or 4 very critical elements to be able to pivot as and when required. Number 1, thrive on ambiguity. Every day is a new day for you, not the 2 days are the same. And that works very well with the millennials. They don't get bored. Okay. Second is quickly, and quickly is important. Quickly spot opportunity in a challenge. Okay, everybody can spot opportunities after it is all gone. Okay, and third is bring passion to the job, wherever you go. It doesn't matter how much face time we are getting with each other. passionate about your job. And last but not least, be accountable for all your actions. Be accountable, take decisions, but be accountable. So if you can imbibe these cultural elements in a startup environment or whichever environment, but more so in a startup environment where you don't have luxury of large teams, big investment funds, dollars for training, retraining every day, you learn as it comes.
Thank you. Before I move on to the next question for anyone to ask, I go into the description of what you just said. Why should I not see YouTube in the office? Okay?
No, you have to ask ISO 27.
And in the present connected world, I'll give an example of what I have gone through in one of the companies I rejoined. This company was having some archaic IT rules where anyone, they didn't have Gmail access, they didn't have YouTube, they didn't have anything, any access. So we said, CEO and I discussed and said, why can't we make it open? We talk so much about openness and transparency, open up everything, except of course a few known sites in pornography or gambling, we said we don't have it. And we said, these are the ones you cannot access. And we let everyone access it. We had a very good monitoring system. Anyone who went off and did access something which is not to be accessed, they were separated. We didn't even ask questions. We said, you have been given a policy, a IT policy. This is it out. 2 terminations, and we publicized these 2 terminations. After that, we didn't have a single person getting out of sight, even though the internet was open. It was free. No one was wasting their time, no one was doing it, and we were monitoring it. If someone was watching YouTube for more than, say, 1 hour a day, the manager was told saying that so-and-so is watching 1 hour, just check what it is. We turned out to be the person was actually learning something, rather than cutting it off. So that is my point of view of saying it needs to be much more open, especially with the present generation and the amount of information is available, which helps you in solving problems much faster. Okay, I have time for one more question. 2 hands, you decide which move you want. I'll take. Please, go ahead.
Okay, I'm here. My name is Taru. So the question is around change because we're talking about change, of course. So when you're part of an organization, which is all about transformation, speed, agility, which is very, very performance driven. But at the same time, this company is a part of a bigger organization, which is very traditional in thinking. It is still, has, there are a lot of differences because the mother company, and the smaller companies to have a place and work at certain level. So how do you bring it up? Because you can't just go all out and make changes in your own company because you have to set up for a process. You're supposed to be performance driven, but at the same time, your bigger company is at a different wavelength. So how do you do that? And I'm assuming it was a long journey.
That was the person who said 30 seconds.
So one is, I think increasingly what we realize that, if you, what you rightly mentioned, the speed of change will be different in different geographies. And the challenges, my challenge would be my environment here. If I'm a healthcare company, I am bound by the regulations here. Government takes the policy decision changes, I get impacted. I don't think that will be true with China or that will be true with Europe. Okay? So more and more empowerment is the name of the game. I think organizations have realized it. If you talk about my organization, I think they should realize that we need to empower our team. We need to empower them. They are the ones who understand. They are in the ground, they understand what's needed. And if the organization will support it, if it's not empowering the local leadership, I think the change will become very, very difficult. And you need to reset your
Yeah. I'll just add one more element there, which is has this team actually had the conversation back in terms of what are the strategic goals that they're wanting to achieve if they're given the empowerment. So I think it all starts with more and more communication and clarity around what is it that you want. Therefore, why does this local team sitting in a particular location want that empowerment? And get a sign off on that KPI or that goal, it will become easier for you to then start getting the support, the required support. Thank you.
That's about time. I'm not going to try and condensed and said this is the synopsis of the program. All people have shared their thoughts. But I'd like to leave saying that one of the biggest success requirement for successful change would be an adaptive culture. I heard each one of them say about culture and how critical it was for the change to happen. And the second thing which I always believe in is we are looking at change for a future, different future. I'm not even calling it better future, a different future. Many a times we get stuck with what we have done in the past to say, is this going to take, if we do this, we're successful in the past, so we do it in the future. I always compare this with a car. Anyone who's driving a car, you have seen that the rear view mirror, which is to see where you have passed through, is very small. But your windscreen is big enough for you to look at the future, what is ahead of you. So if you keep this example in mind of saying past, yes, it has to be seen, but don't take everything of the past into the future is what you're looking at. And I want to end with a quote from JFK, who said about change. Change is a law of life, and those who look only to the past or present are certain to miss the future. So let's not miss the future. Thank you.
Thank you very much, all of you, for that very interesting, tough topic of driving cultural transformation. I'd like to call Mr. K.V. Seshaya, Head of Shared Services Center at Dr. Reddy's Laboratory Limited, to please come up to give a memento to our lady panelist, Kanchan Taylor. Thanks, Kanchan, very much for being here. I'd like to request Mr. Rahul Puri, Head Employee Relations, ACCA, to give a memento to Mr. Swadesh Bahela. Mr. Sanjay Birmani, Chief Human Resource Management Services, Tata Steel. To offer a memento to Mr. Anand Maheshwari. I request Mr. Virendra Chawla, MD and CEO, EBEX, or is it EBEX Services, to give a memento to the moderator, Mr. Varadarajan Srinivasan. Thank you. Thank you very much. And now we have a special presentation, Emerging Technologies and Digital Trends in Human Capital Management. For that, I'd like to invite Mr. R. Swaminathan, Chief People Officer, WNS Global Services. Swaminathan leads WNS's human resources function and is responsible for the entire gamut of people-oriented processes. Swami is an unconventional HR professional who also has a sterling experience spanning operations and sales. Prior to joining WNS, Swami was with CA Technologies, where he served as Vice President, Human Resources, and was the country head HR for India. He has also served as head of HR operations at Sintel, and thereafter for a short while was its global HR head. R. Swaminathan, Chief People Officer, WNS Global Services, for this special presentation.
Am I audible? Now better? Yes. So good afternoon, it's a tough ask. Really had to be interesting or maybe make me more hungry between lunch and the session. The topic was digital trends and human capital management again. I just want to, following after Praveer, and everybody else, you have to build a good story to start with. Right? I mean, let me keep it interactive, and then I'll probably try to give 2 to 3 use cases that probably can be reflected upon from a practitioner standpoint, right? So, case in point, I run a company, a brief profile of company, we have moved around 40,000 people. We are in the business process management world. So we end up losing 20,000 people, we recruit another 20,000 people a year. So we have a set of an organization of around 80,000 people, right? So that's the scale of operation, we operate around 14 countries, and we fashionably call it following the sun. So typically in a business process management, attrition is a big thing, right? And every business leader wants to understand why are people leaving, right? That should happen in your world, right? Now, I will have typically a head of HR, let's say insurance, who come and say, for me, I want to do exit interviews. And you will be managing a shop of 10,000, right? I want to do exit interviews for everybody and give you a fine report, right? Now, when you look back, what does that mean? Is look, as a professional, we have 1,700 hours of work to do in a year, right? You probably will have all of us run with the ratios. So you will have 1:300, 1:500, some ratio you're managing as an HR professional or HR business partner. Probably a 5-member team. You probably will have all put together some 6,000 hours of work, right? In that you have to do all your transaction, all every other thing, right? Now typically to do a very robust project, back of that column, you probably need close to around 1,000 hours of design. Right? That means you involve the right kind of people, you do everything, you get everybody on the on the mat, do all your focus groups and every other thing, and then you design a product and then you try to implement that, right? Now, with 5 people, 5,000 hours will go only in this, right? The fundamental question, when you want to embark on a journey, which you say is digital, or you call it AI, you call it machine learning, that means I want to, simplify it and give you one basic fundamental, which is, if you're managing only 100 people, you need to be intelligent, you need not be artificially intelligent. Right? You just have to use common sense, right? You don't need a lot of system and the same. Where is artificial intelligence required? You have a scale, and that scale cannot be fathomed by your human resource. Look, I worked in the analytics industry. My entire career was 1/3 M&A, 1/3 sales, and 1/3 HR, right? And typically, I've been part of merger and acquisition decisions with one of the largest companies where we acquired on gut action. Even though all the data would suggest that, GE cannot enter into water business, we went into water business. With the primary thought that we thought people will pay money for water, there will be purification or whatever, that entire business of $3 billion went down the drain, right? Now, fundamentally, when you want to get into this journey, you have to first evaluate whether your scale merits that, right? Somewhere where you can simply, look, nothing is going to, cross over from your intellect, right? You have to have your intellect, you have to have your intelligence. And when there is scale beyond that, we probably, will get into artificial intelligence. And also, HR plays a very bigger of it, right? Whether you like or not, every employer is a top performer. He changes job every 2 years, he gets a 30%. Right? They go, they get the hike. So in a lifetime, when I look at average, somebody said 15 years. In 15 years, people probably say 7 jobs. In 7 jobs, they are trying to beat inflation. That is nature, right? And when you're trying to beat inflation, logic does not prevail at that point. Now, when I get into the core subject of where can you use artificial intelligence, right? I mean, so it's very confusing. So what we try and do in our company, right? The biggest problem, somebody spoke about,
YouTube and other things, right? Look, for me, the biggest impact is the guy is on Facebook, the guy is on Yammer or Snapchat, they are on Instagram. Monday morning they come, we put that big algorithm mission in front of them. Right? That's nothing. There is one computer which will say, you can't do this, you can't do that. Right? And there is a big algorithm phone which can only dial, and most of the time it doesn't work. Right? And you go to a video conferencing room, 9 out of 10 times the technology is required when you have to do a presentation. I've never been to a customer presentation where the technology has worked. Right? You know, but the guy is operating seamlessly with Zoom and a Google Hangout, and he is operating, right? So first transformation is how do I synchronize the Sunday night experience to Monday morning experience, right? You know, and that's a very important challenge in our organization. We are purely millennial. Our managers are also millennial, our employees are also millennial. So we have no confusion, right? And also as an industry, you know, we were very lucky. Look, unlike some companies where they thought machine is doing, some industry thought that our product is doing, for us there is no one. People are assets, people bring revenue, people pay for people, right? So we have to focus. Second fundamental flaw, I think, all of your HR professionals, we do consulting for a lot of companies. The minimum average system that exists within HR function is not less than 12. Right? And can you guys tell me which is the most used digital platform in your company? And that works. Every company it works. Email, no, from an employee standpoint, yeah, email is work, you know. Leave management system. The whole damn thing works all the time. Because an employee knows how to use it. You put a complicated system, he or she will figure out how to use it. Look, that comes to the core point that usability of system is the most critical aspect of any digital journey. Right? You guys are working in a digital economy, we work in a digital economy. Let's say we work with one of the largest OTAs, online travel agencies, could be Expedia, could be MakeMyTrip, right? You are having that experience, right? And you want to get responded in 2 minutes, right? You come into the office, you raise the IT query will say, I'll come after 2 days. Right? You raise the query, that will take. So you have to synchronize the experience between what you expect your employees to deliver to your customer, right? Towards what your employee will experience from the internal organization. And HR being one of the major service provider to it, right? So I'll give you 3 calendars that we use this very efficiently so that we do it, right? Look, we recruit average 20,000 people a year. That translates to roughly 2,000 people a month. And our hit ratio is probably around 10%. Right? That means, you know, we probably have to have 200,000 resumes, 7th of April. Right? If there is no 200,000 resumes, I know my number is not going to get there. Right? 200,000 resumes means you have to do Tirupati Darshan. Right? Because 200,000 people have to walk into your office and get out. Forget anything. That logistics is a nightmare. Right? Now, what is the AI we use? How do we simplify? And also, all of us can't live in a list that we are in a buyer economy. Look, for us, we all operate in large complexes. So that is WNS, that is Capgemini, that is Eros, that is Accenture. The candidate, by our analysis, the candidate patience time is around 4 hours. So candidate wants to get it, have an experience of a process, get out with or without an offer, right? In a 4 hours time. Because once the lunch break comes, the guy gets out, the guy doesn't come back. Right? Because he's saying, okay, Accenture is doing one more walk-in, okay, they walk in there. Right? And it's a walk-in, right? It is just whether you run a 10-ton AC or a 15-ton AC is the difference. And that will when you operate in Mumbai. Right? Now, where does AI come in? Where does digital come in? How can you enhance the experience? Look, we have traditional processes and we have advanced ones. So, say for example, can we advance this input process back at home? So our onboarding system of a candidate registration process through use of video conference and every other thing, we had a very simple system, very rudimentary, that somebody can finish the process so that the registration process when they walk in is finished. Right? So our hiring platform, which is the test, we thought, so basically, we thought about, look, we all like resumes. Have you ever read a resume? Nobody reads the resume. So we said, why should you write a resume? You need 10 fields. You do keyword search. You go okay, they put 10 skills in Google, they are all Google kids. You might be the research guy, but your recruiter is a Google kid. The recruiter will go and do keyword search, right? So the recruiter, and this idea came from a recruiter. He said, nobody reads the resume, why are you wasting so much paper? Right? We said, okay, we need only 10 data feeds to see whether the candidate has to be interviewed or not. Because you still have a selection process, right? Then what are we assess in our industry? So for that simplification, took out 2 hours of time. Nothing paper handling, because tomorrow some issue will happen, background verification, something will fail. They say, go get the resume. Resume nobody can find. So we took it somewhere in the process, the shared services. So there are multiple functions we create to fight with each other. There is hiring team, there is shared services team, there is HR business partner team, there is learning team. So in this entire ecosystem, the simple process to say, let us not go with resume. Let the candidate type 10 data fields and we take those 10 data fields, right? And assess them whether they need to be used, right? Next is we partner with a company called Focus. Online testing company. What we love with them is they don't work in and out test in 12 minutes. Right? It is for me again, trip to Vatican or trip to Tirupati. Right? The guy won't spend 3 hours doing the test. Right? And he might do 3 hours doing the test, there is nobody in the organization who's reading that test. All of us look at score and score to segment. So for us, this entire conversion to a 12-minute process. And then we get to the next question. What are you interviewing? Look, I've been only 2 interviews, where the interviewer will not allow the interview to speak. Right? Because at our level, when you go for interviews, it is somebody telling you the job. Right? At the second level, at the agent level, you need to question both parameters. And these are similar questions. So we don't, you're going to ask those 10, 15 questions. And the HR guy is only doing the process, because the HR has to select for culture. You define the HR part of it. And then what we said is we segmented and you come to our office, you see 3 colored seats. The pink color seats are the guys who registered. Then there are the green color seats, the old manufacturing ones. The green color seats are the guys who cleared test. Then there are the orange color seats that they finished off in build. The moment we know our orange is filled, which is around 2 to 3, then they go into the offer negotiation. Right? And what we said is, let's not have every operating guy coming for interview. You can automate that. I think that will be the future, that one robo can talk. But here we said, for certified panel of people who can interview. And just to give you an event, there is a friend of mine, he was a kid and club person. He started creating interview panels. So he runs a startup worth 20 crores. So what he did is he identified all the people, women who went for maternity, never joined workforce, put them through interviewing testing. He gets panel to Cognizant, TCS and everything on weekends. So these people will come, and he has 2,000 people on his roles. So they all come on a Saturday, Sunday, do interview and get out. Right? They get paid $1,500, but for a company, there is no operating end to go to the interview. I'm just giving a use case of where would you use this in your operating. Look, this is in our world future. Right? 50% of the workforce will be tech-enabled, whether you like it or not. Right? And also let's understand, 80% of the HR workforce is not tech-enabled. Right? That is the conundrum you have to marry and baseline. Because look, we all have relied too much on our intuition. Because the biggest change, as somebody said, email. The biggest change for me is when I started working, SAP and BAN came into work. Right? I saw most of my bosses lose jobs because they were not able to adapt into an ERP system and then to an email system. Right? I think that was the biggest technology disruption. The next technology disruption is this. I mean, if you go and read the good old CP Memoria, which all of us studied in personal management, we used to call something called the T-shaped profession. Right? The eye of the T was general management. Now the eye of the T is technology. Right? Second is, none of your millennials want to come to office and work. Now forget about working with millennials. They don't want to come to office. Right? So right now we are working where we are telling our guys, go take 2 jobs. Look, we are going to become like Eros. Right? Let's say in our industry, the best possible pay can happen at an associate level could be 4 lakhs per annum. That will translate to 30,000 per annum. With all the market influencers, your average spend can go to 60 grand. I can't provide that. How can I do this? I can flex a policy and say, it's okay if you go to McDonald's and work in the evening, I'm fine. Right? Go make your money. Right? So it's about thinking differently. How will you get a gig workforce? Now your policies are not geared up for gig workforce, right? Information security, somebody bought up, right? Forget somebody in the province. You don't know what he's doing at home, right? How are you going to monitor that? And that's the system scalability you need to get. Connected enterprise. Look, compensation now, all of us can boldly agree is not a secret. Everybody knows everybody is compensating on me. Right? Because the moment the increment comes, my team, my associate will tell me, was in fact, you gave this much increase precisely to this process, and that process got different. They're far more connected, right? And that you have to counter only with technology and information. That's no other choice. The last point is when I call employee empowerment, Bobby was telling that people will ask questions. They're not even asking questions. They're doing activism. There is every issue. Look what they're saying in their social behavior. I have this habit of going and looking at internet, right? Now every customer complaint of any product is going to CEO of a company. My AC is not working, right to the Volta CEO. I don't know what will Volta CEO do, right? Now that is the behavior that they is getting interpreted at home. So he doesn't want to interact with anybody else other than the CEO. My CEO receives around 400 emails a day. My full and final settlement is not that, right? And his job, he wants to respond, he responds. But you have to brace your fact that they have an activist mentality and an entitlement mentality, which is okay. You have to come to us as an employer that we're going to be okay with that kind of mindset. So this probably you can't handle only with your unit, right? And as I said, with 17 different systems that don't talk to each other. I've never seen any of, Rakesh knows about it, we work with a lot of customers. I've never seen any customer which has more than 40% adequate data of an employee. You can't do analytics. Trust me, if you're only knowing non-changeable variables, let's say if you say all married people attrition is high, you can't change their marital status, right? There is no action you can do in that, right? So for you to do some analysis, you probably we collect with 6 years of effort, we have 42 variables that experience an employee, right? And we have close to around 350,000 data points, right? That will give you intelligence because that probably will tell me that if I have to staff for a building in Migori, I should not be hiring them from Malacca. If I am hiring in Romania, I probably won't get a guy from Poland to work in Romania, right? You might say Beijing and Shanghai are pretty close by, but the guy in Shanghai don't have to live in Beijing. The attrition is high because both are employment hubs. The moment the change comes, they go there. Look, this is where an intelligence comes. Let me give you one simple use case. We work for a large car rental company, and they have this problem. So in airport, you go, you rent a car when you go leave. Can you guess what the attrition in the airport car rental pays? Any guesses? Some guesses. Close to around 120. Right? Because, and they post the program. Right? Now, what did we do? We went and looked at the social networks in that area. Right? We did build a browser, we went to Facebook, none of them use LinkedIn, right? Guy who works in workers. Kurt does not use LinkedIn, so you have to go to Facebook, you have to go to Insta, you have to go to Snapchat. And we figured out, we did a zonal analysis. We said that, okay, we are going to do it for Boston Airport. Let's figure out who are these guys who are in Boston. Then one intelligence came through. We said, why shouldn't we look at somebody who's working in Boston Airport on a day shift or any other shift? So our targeted sourcing started happening from somebody who's working in a Starbucks in the Logan Airport. Right? It's a simple lookalike profile of a very geography determination which a model can do. That's what a digital enterprise can do. Now that brought down the acquisition directly by 35%. And we did that model for 100 airports for them. Right? So that's a use case of how you can leverage, not much data. You're probably looking at a geographic distribution of people. Then you're trying to figure out who's working within Logan. You're going to build a campaign to reach out to them and engage them to apply for this car rental company. Right? Again, another use case from this person. Now, this is where I'm going to spend. I tell you, right? Look, AI and robots are still not used to automate things. They're used to automate tasks. Okay? In my experience, I can be wrong, but based on various, customer interaction that we have, right? They are probably still use to automate tasks and not. So let's say, for example, when you automate, there is a RPA, which is robotic process automation, ML machine learning, NLP, and AI. Let's say these are series of maturity in your continuum in your digital journey. When you do it, you probably will have cost saving. You probably will build user experience. You probably will improve the accuracy of it, right? Now, when you want to get to the thinking stage, self-learning activity. So let's say, for example, all of you have background check process. It consumes a huge amount of time. What can do related? We have bots doing our background check. It takes sorts, sends emails to vendors, picks up data, analyzes. Probably we save 10 headcounts for doing the job. I just need one UPS, one person. Right? Now, what does that do to somebody has to still read the background report and take a decision? But probably that guy is doing a far more enriching job than going and following up with vendors and have you filtered the form, right? That's where, when you put up self-learning activity. Value partner is, let me give you a scenario where you're working in a recruitment ecosystem. Let's say, for example, there is a recruiter bias. Obviously, because we come from culture does some kind of bias. Let's say, for example, if you work in a country, probably like Romania, this is extremely ridiculous, right? Because they can say that he did not properly look at me, and I think that is a bias, right? And it can be the legal code, system upholds it. So in Philippines also, the employee first goes to the labor court before coming to you. They don't come to you. The method of operations, they go to the labor court and they come. It's a very normal practice, right? Now, in a interview, thing probably can have a bot engaging with them on a chat, right? And the second thing is all of this has extraordinary time to go. Activity called pulse. So pulse is something where we listen but don't do anything. Because you already know what is happening. A methodical way for a bot to interact with 10 questions to an employee in a sustained fashion, right, is a very achievable feat. So for us, in our journey, we've always taken small bits, tried to solve this. Look, because unlike the larger HR continuum, there is no set practice, so you can really, right, you can take a small point of view, go and experience that and see whether that works or that doesn't work and probably with it, right? I'm not going to spend a lot of time. One point on learning, this is what we experience. Look, we are out of trainers, right? So we have a training team, which is one of the largest teams. We probably have 100 of people. Look, whenever I go to the training guy is at 82% utilized, right? And he has the same, McDonald's menu. So we are still teaching people on negotiation skills, presentation skills, customer meeting skills, blah, 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 so on and so forth. But there is no orientation, right? How many minutes, right? Is it a bell for me? Yes. The last part I'm going to talk about is this is something which we did, which we are very proud of. Right? Can I take one more minute, please? Now, all of us do performance management. Right? The first thing I came from sales, right? I went and asked my HR, hey, what about performance management? They said we are 90% complete. Right? I didn't understand what that means. Right? Why should I have a process? So the entire workforce was going in the process completion in a 40,000 organization. We were pretty collectively 100,000 man hours doing this process. And nobody is happy because only 20% get good life. Right? The rest of the people are telling it doesn't work. Right? So we built an engine that probably looks like a Facebook. Right? Which we said when we analyzed, we actually figured out there is a character called 101 manager who did not get involved in the process but delayed it by 30%. Right? So, in a very simple thing, our performance management process got changed to performance engagement. So, what we have is, if you are my manager and I write and we both don't have a very cordial conversation, the analytics engine or the AI engine picks up and tells the HR, hey, you know what, they are having an altercation, go engage. Because the poor HR man needs a performance document. No manager needs it. And the poor manager doesn't even remember why he gave it. So, if you are in my company and you are writing in the system, based on the tone of your language, it will tell you where the rating will land. Because the way we work with social and the way we reward is capital. Right? And that's a fundamental difference. Because you always say you're doing a good work in 10%, and at the end of the day, you say, HR told normalize rating, so we can't reward you, right? This allows that. So, we launched this product which has helped us tremendously because the transaction in this product in 1 year was 3 million transactions. Right? And it almost saved 50,000 hours of productivity. Right? I just pause here. I think we have 10 seconds probably to take questions. Thanks for your time. I just thought I'll keep it simple and do 3 points. Thank you.
If you talk about this, they analyze how they write this thing or which of the writing of this they analyze. But it might depend how a person has the emotions. Sometimes it happens that he is, it depends. Your behavior derives through your emotions, but how would you identify and how would you deal with those kind of, how can you identify the performance of that person to that?
So, one part, what should a performance management process? It should tell somebody that what he or she should do to get something, right? Which never happens in any performance, right? Second thing, what should a manager know that how am I peer rewarding my team or recognizing that thing, right? So here what we built a word club. So if you are an employee or you get a word club on how my peers are getting for recognizing what we get, so that you can moderate your behavior. When as a manager I log in, I get to know what my bosses are rewarding my peers, what my peers are rewarding that team. Look, for us, it simplifies the agility of communication for my CEO. Because the most unfair question I can ask my CEO is not change his task. Because things change, economy is so fast, right? I mean, we work with somebody like Rakesh, he'll say customer centricity, next month we'll say innovation, third month we'll say cost, fourth month we'll say something else, right? Now, traditional method probably will take 4 months for the CEO to reach the 40,000, right? Instead, the CEO says, I'm recognizing this cost conscious behavior. It takes technically 1 week for the lowest most rate to know that cost conscious is important, right? Because that's a system driven. That's why in a large scale, that's where you get to the fact. Emotions and bias are based on how you rate. AI will fix it. If you say your feedback is stupid, it will immediately trigger a one mail to HR manager that there is an altercation, go involve. Okay? Then the HR manager effort is also simplified. Otherwise, they are having focus group to figure out what is the issue. So hope I answered your question. All right, thank you. We can take the questions because everybody is ready for lunch. Maybe during lunch. Perfect. Thanks.
Thank you very much, Mr. Swaminathan. I'd like to request Neeraj Agarwal, please come up. Neeraj Agarwal, Director of HR Shared Services Center at Opportunities Laboratory. We give a memento to R. Swaminathan, Chief People Officer, WNS Global Services, for that special. Thank you. Thank you very much. So friends, we break for lunch now to enjoy your lunch and reassemble at 2 o'clock. Thank you.